Hey, 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 what's up? What's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of QuickMail.io.
Hey, and this is Jack, Chief Lead Generation Officer at salesbread.com. Jeremy, great intro. Today, today we're in a good mood. We've got a water cooler chit chat.
Yeah, I don't have water. It's gonna be fast.
I have parts of a smoothie for my water cooler chat, but what are we talking about? I came to you with a question and you were into it. It's this: why aren't our inboxes filled with life insurance cold emails, life insurance pitches? I mean, anyone with an inbox kind of technically needs life insurance. There's a big price point. Why aren't we seeing a life insurance email every single day?
Yeah, but before that, a couple of words from our sponsors. I promise it's going to be fast. We got, QuickMail, one of the best cold email outreach platform. I heard it by my own customers many times, even today during a demo call. It feels good. It feels good having evangelists. Anyway, yeah, give it a go. I don't know. It's a great tool for automation of cold outreach email. I don't have my one-liner today.
That it is. No, you nailed it. Absolutely. And at SalesSpread, we're going to help you generate one lead per day. This is a water cooler. So the pitch is going to be a little conversational. Say you've got this next beautiful product or service, and you know exactly who you want to use it. You know that people like it and need it. You just don't like prospecting. Maybe that's all it is. Today, somebody said they just don't like prospecting. I don't get it, but that's why I'm running SalesBread, where we help you generate one lead per day. We'll do the prospecting and the personalization and all the follow-ups necessary. That's right. So if you like it, go to salesbread.com, click the buttons that tell you what to do next, and we'll talk then. All right.
All right.
Jeremy,
rock on.
Thanks. Why aren't our inboxes filled with life insurance pitches? So,
well, I don't know about your inbox. My one is full of. It's just the wrong folder. It's a spam folder.
Interesting. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Yes, life insurance companies send cold email for sure, and they do. But there's this thing I've been considering, and it's like, okay, technically, life insurance has the bones in place for a profitable campaign. It's got price point of several $1,000s. So yeah, you're going to take a sales call. What else? It's got a audience that's reachable via email.
Yeah. It's technically for life. So, you close once, that's pretty much it most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in the industry at all. I have no idea what the returns are for a salesperson, but maybe 10K if you get a single person to say yes.
It could even be more, honestly.
Maybe way more. Thanks. So it's okay. So we have the price point that's justified, that works for cold outreach. We've got the audience that's reachable on cold outreach. Let's just find any professional. And it's likely that we reach enough of them, we're going to make some sales. But then I can't come up with any bad reasons why a life insurance company wouldn't do really well to the point where it's just common practice. If you sell life insurance, you send lots of cold email every day. And that's not what I'm seeing, at least in my inbox. Like you said, is it because they do it, but it just ends in spam? Let's start there.
There's a bit of that. I know a few people who does it or did it. I didn't keep tab on that. And for some of them, they do end up in spam, and they think it's because of what they're saying, because of the words, right? Like it's like Viagra. Like, I don't understand. Try to be a Viagra reseller.
Right.
It's gonna be
okay.
tough.
That's a really good point. So it could be that life insurance premium term, whatever, these have been added to today's spam keyword lists that are used. Okay, so it could be simple, but then Jeremy, we like to play devil's advocate. Why don't we just come up with clever ways of wording this? And I think we would both agree that that's not it. That's not the answer.
Okay, I'm thinking this way. Picture this. You've been running it for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. You've used a certain channel. It's working well. You try cold outreach. Everyone tells you to F off.
Mhm.
and you say that
Mhm.
thing doesn't work, and you move on, right? Not everyone has a understanding of how to approach it, but on top of that, I think it's very difficult to okay, you're mentioning contacting contractors and stuff like that. Okay, that could work because that could be, similar business, but some of it could also be like B2C, and there's
What do you
no,
mean contractors? What do you mean?
well, like for example, plumbers or people who are or roofers, people who are, having a company at their name. So in this case, usually they have still their Yahoo email address or Gmail address and so
Okay.
on. But usually, Gmail, Microsoft, Outlooks, all sort of things are very, even, Outlook, Yahoo, whatever, they're very quick on putting people at spam when you're actually not contacting a business person, when you're contacting like people
Okay.
with, home addresses,
Generic
right?
email addresses. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And listeners of the show know that you're spot on. So let's take it another step forward. It's like, okay, Jeremy, no worries. Let's say you decide to be a life insurance salesperson that specializes in helping
Oh
dentists
man,
with
I hate
their,
my
okay.
life. Yeah. Sorry
It might
for
be
every,
tough.
life insurer
No,
listening to this show. That's
that's,
definitely not me.
but think about it, like just for a moment. Now you're reaching out to business email addresses. Why? Because you've niched down to dentists, and um, it does not work to the degree that every dentist wakes up with 10 different life insurance companies vying for their replies in their inboxes.
Yeah,
So
I
again,
think it's hard to switch, right? Like it's hard for someone. Like if I got my insurance, it's like I'm not going to bother with another insurance. Like, it's just like I'm not
okay,
gonna compare it, or like
okay,
it's something, that is on the side. And that's why, this is so good to be able to sell a life insurance. That's the thing, you should get it at the time the first person, buy it. That's why banks try to get have super great packages for
students,
teens and students, whatever, because once you're in, then that's
yeah,
it. There's the incentive to move from one another is very, very little. So
okay.
makes it
So
hard.
that's pretty cool, Jeremy. That's pretty cool. So in other words, we may have a timing issue where if
Mhm.
you are reaching out to people that already have it, it's not really going to resonate. And if you reach out to people with the right timing, but the wrong kind of message, then you're off too. So just for fun, this is Watercooler. How would we go about even attempting a list for this? Okay. And then my follow up would be, once we get this list, what's our hit rate? Like, and I'll revisit that. I won't forget. So how the heck would you, yeah, like pretend you're tasked with like
I think
this.
I think I know what I would do. I'm not convinced word of mouth will work. Not word of mouth, but referrals. I'm not convinced that would work, because otherwise, this is the first thing I will do is do a campaign to my own customers and just ask them like, "Hey, do you know anyone who would need that in your group or whatever?" I think I'll go
Mm,
for things that are timely, like maybe um, manage to get a register of people, or like trying to get some affiliates from accountants
there you
who
go.
opens new businesses, because maybe they could say like, hey, by the way, I know this guy. Like I know when I opened my first
Uh-huh.
business, there was lots of things I didn't know, and I just asked like, do you know anyone that provides this service or whatever? So finding at the time
Okay.
where people really need that service, giving them like a kickback could work. And so therefore I'll do an
Love
affiliate
that.
campaign instead of actually going
Okay.
after the
So,
the end
okay.
user.
And for listeners who might be saying, how, okay, but how? Tell me if you agree with this. Then I might find accountants that specialize in maybe merging bank accounts when people are married,
Oh, or
right? Like,
divorce attorney or
because
whatever.
yeah, like I would think like, what's the trigger to buy health insurance, life
Of
insurance? Maybe
course.
it's when you get married, perhaps. So I'd find those people. Is it a CPA that marries? Maybe even
Or when you
marriage
divorce,
counselors.
because I think when
Yeah,
you divorce, I think that is all counted into account before being split, and sometimes they may actually need to
interesting.
change or whatever. So if you come here and
Okay,
say, hey, by the way, we could save you 20% on your current premium, that may be appealing, and say like, why not?
yeah.
Who cares?
Okay, so full stop. Water
Just
cooler has sort
assumptions.
of, Yeah, it's true, but I think, why don't we see, you and I, 10 life insurance cold emails a day?
Do you need it?
It's Do you need it? Right. Like,
Nope,
is the
I don't.
timing good for the average Joe? It's not.
So that's
But
why I
if
don't
you
receive it,
wanted to run a
hopefully.
good campaign, just turn it around and, yeah, find affiliates that can help resell it. Come up with a very obvious way to get an accountant, for example, to get excited to mention your business to their clients. And that's it. And maybe that's the extent that cold outreach has on this industry.
If you have a brother in accounting and you want to do business with him, or sister,
Right.
lawyer, you want to do business with her, find, a
Sure.
complementary business and just like help each
That's
other.
exactly right.
I like the idea.
Right. Okay. So to me, this all comes down to, I'm not even sure what I'd call it, but it's this hit rate almost. So think about the best list you could build. And then I'll ask people, especially before I agree to take them on as a client, I'll say, like, okay, is this the best list that you can possibly imagine? What if we went a little bit further? Okay, now is this the best list? Oh, that's a good point. Okay. And so we'll sort of theoretically come up with a list that we'll build. Today we talked about, just to show you the extent of where this ends up, it's business owners in consultancies that care about the wellness of their employees, or on Glassdoor have mentioned wellness as part of their employee packages, right? So you want to go
through a divorce. Oh, I don't know why I keep bringing it up, but you know what I mean? It's like, you could keep on adding.
Pretty much. Now,
and have 2 kids or whatever. Or more.
Yeah, so you get really, really specific. And then I ask, all right, so let's say we just take a random 100 people from this list, and let's assume 100% reply rate. How many of them say I'm interested? And that's how you know.
Nice question.
If you have the right list. To me, Jeremy, and this is sort of something I want to know if you like my thinking or not. I tell people, if you can't get at least 10 people out of those hundreds, assuming 100% response rate, to say, yeah, tell me more, you haven't done your list building good enough yet.
But Jack, who cares? I got 40,000 leads.
And now you have the life insurance problem. Now you have spam, you've got
deliverability,
just crickets, deliverability issues. Right. You're not there yet. It's too easy to just flag you as spam and leave you as a marketer salesperson in the dust. Right.
This is so funny. Like sometimes I do have people, on quick mail. I don't provide, consultancy. I just don't do it. Otherwise I'll be spending my time doing this. But sometimes in demo calls or whatever, I say like, oh, where'd you get your list from? And so I say, don't worry, this is not a problem. We got 40,000 people to go through. This side of thing is not a problem. I'm like, man, this is actually the problem, right? You're not gonna last long. But this is always funny because they say, oh, no, don't worry, we have a good list. We'll run it through email verification, and then we'll start. It's like, okay. How about you go to quickmail.io/call-email.
Start there.
Yeah, right. Start there. That's usually what I do.
But what do you think about the 10% number?
I love it. I love the question about, like, assuming everyone replied to your email, what is the percentage you think will say yes? And I wouldn't be surprised that people in insurance industry will say, but I don't need 10 people to reply. Just one is enough because I got a big list of 40,000 people,
right,
kind of thing. And then it's still the spray and pray type of approach. But and I must say, the new generation is coming in, and it could be but the new generation is probably trying on TikTok, trying on whatever, like, other platform, because it requires, I think the entry level nowadays of cold email is probably higher than the typical social young social person already on developing a social presence, right? So it's because now you buy from trust as well, so it's tricky.
Wait, I'm not following that. So now the playing field of cold email is on par with am I catching that right?
What I'm saying is that the new generation is more comfortable with tools like TikTok and stuff like that. And when you see someone and you develop like you follow that person, then it becomes
Right.
influencer, and it's much more powerful than sending an email from someone receiving an email from someone
Yeah.
right? Even if the offer is great, like people will just do it because they're following this guy and say, oh, this guy's
Right.
like a good example is we have one guy, and that could be that could be the channel. Like we have one guy that is doing not in QuickMail, sorry. I know one guy who is actually doing real estate selling, but on YouTube, it's just explaining how it happens and stuff like that. Well, guess what? When people are in New York and they see this, they just want to talk with this guy because they've followed some of his YouTube channel, some of his YouTube stuff. So the trust implicitly has been built. Like I know if I go for this, like
Yeah.
people watching and listening to a podcast, they'll be happy to jump on a call and just get some consultancy from us. Why? Because they build some, like that's why you're getting some client. That's why I'm getting some client as
Yeah.
well. It's like we're being upfront. We're trying to give as much value as possible. And so cold email is nice when it supplements this, but I think at equal sort of like audience, I would say like YouTube or TikTok would probably have a upper end, when it comes to relationships already pre-built, stuff like that. Does that make sense? Like if I have the same list of people, following me on TikTok versus the same list of people I can, do outreach.
Yeah.
It's an easy one, right?
Yeah, but it's then you run into the issue that I experienced as early in my career as an email copywriter, which was probably the pain point for me, where I could write a heck of a campaign and it would work really nicely. But then when the client said, hey, Jack, this is good, but like, how do we get more people on our list? I'd be like, I don't know. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just build a list of them and reach out to them automatically? This is before I heard of what cold email was. And back in the day, it was being referred to as like Marketo outreach or something. Like I'm going back to like 2012.
That's right.
Like people, oh yeah, just use your Marketo or whatever. And all of this was totally new, but that was when the light bulb went off. It was like, okay, wait a minute. Now you have your message, you have your good copywriting, and then wait a minute, you can actually find these people yourself and not wait for them to click an ad and then decide to leave. It was like door open, game on.
Yeah.
So fun. Yeah.
I'm thinking, so if I am like in that position, I just got this like 40,000 list, whatever. And then I think if I start in life insurance, I probably will start by, opening a YouTube channel and talking about all the horror stories that happens.
Interesting.
Right. Simple as that. It's like just talking about all the horror stories, just letting you know like why it's so important to take like a good life insurance, why it's important to whatever. This is something that happened. And of course, you never know it before, this happens. And there are some really horrible stories, right? But so I guess that's what I will do. I will keep on doing that nonstop pretty much and try to make it a bit entertaining. And so develop something like that. And then after that, you can do in your outreach, in your signature, whatever, then you have your YouTube channel. So people can just do their own sort of like due diligence, like, who the hell is this guy? Then check, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I never think of that. And maybe, get them to buy into what you're trying to sell.
I still like the affiliate. I call it like a partnership campaign.
That's
idea is number one.
Fastest one.
That one's faster. And then the second thing that I think in conjunction with this, nothing wrong with making great content and putting in the signature. It's pretty cool. Like, why not? But I may spend a bit of time trying to build a list that I would get that 10% hit rate on. And it may be going to Facebook because they have a lot more like, what is it called? Psychographics.
Yep.
So like affiliations to different interests, as opposed to straight job title, industry, company size that LinkedIn's famous for. I might find a really specific Facebook group, Jeremy, like first time entrepreneurs, so that I'm going to get the market that hasn't paid yet. Yeah, I'm going to get kids. That's a great point. I'm going to get kids, but then I may say, all right, they have to have gone to college. There you go.
No, I'm saying kicked. You're going to get kicked from the group.
No, I wouldn't even be in. I would just be there to scrape data, I
Oh,
guess.
clever. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't tell Mark Zuckerberg, but that is a way that you can go. Okay, cool. So now I know.
Or your audience. Yeah.
You could even do this. Might be even easier. Just go to LinkedIn and make sure that they have 1 year or less of experience, um, and check their. Yeah, you can pull the year they went to college, and just make sure it's like plus or minus 2 years. Yeah, plus or minus 2 years ago, or something, 2 to 5 years ago. So you've got the age right, but then you're still not going to have a 10% yes on that list. And
No,
I
of
don't
course
know how
not.
to make it 10. Yeah, I don't know how to make it 10.
One
And
thing you could
that is
do,
why I don't think they're sending cold emails
yeah, I don't think it
10 a day.
works. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it has to be crazy good, the offer, and most of the time life insurance brokers, they just resell
yeah,
something, a package that is like common,
that's right.
or it's like
Right.
zero sort of value added. It's just a matter of like picking up, at the right time the person. And
What about this, Jeremy?
mm,
I'm cutting you off, so don't
no,
let
no,
me
go ahead,
if
please.
you're on a
I do that
thread.
all the time.
But what
Look, I
if
just did it again.
what if you actually did have an offer where it was like life insurance $1 a day, and let's just suppose it's usually $100 a month, $1 a day. Let's say it's working really well on other channels, like your PPC ad can be blowing up because nobody has this offer. Then what? Does that change anything?
Potentially, but at least you'll have something to talk about, like, some, like, hey, here's why, you're paying 10 times more than you should, Jack. Is that worth having 10
Pretty
minutes of
good.
your time?
That's pretty
Or
good, Jeremy.
like,
So yeah,
like you could say, is that worth for you to just look this, 2 minutes video that I built for you or something like that?
what's pretty fun, I love all that. And what it means is, in order to get this magic 10% number, you can do one or two things. You can either cut your list better, or you can sweeten that offer so that
More
you
people.
get from five. Yeah, exactly. Like
It's demand and
my
supply.
hunch is, well, yeah, it's like that's probably why the Viagra emails of the late 90s, early 2000s worked so well, is because the list didn't matter. Everybody got them. But the offer,
That's so true.
again,
Yeah.
maybe that's why it worked.
Plus, there
Couple
was a
handful weren't good.
novelty, thing. It's like, oh, this is new thing. People
Yeah,
want to try it, and then
true.
whatever. But I would never buy drugs from the internet. I
No,
mean, like, doesn't matter. But that's the thing. Doesn't matter what I receive. I will never buy it from the internet. But what I would do
fair.
is potentially go to the pharmaceutical company that sells it, right? And
There
I
you go.
think that's
There you
the
go.
that's a sort of like different. So being a broker is very difficult in that sense, right? Because you haven't earned the
Yeah,
right of, the company's
it's
authority.
true. It's true. Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit deeper, and then we kind
All
of
right.
surface. But let's if let's say you tried the partnership thing, you got a couple CPAs sending you business, nice.
Nice.
Let's say you're like, all right, I know that people that buy life insurance also, what's a common thread here? Okay, they're in marriage. They're getting like pre-marriage counseling. That's a
Okay.
thing. What if you were able to pay for a list of people in this pre-marriage consulting program? Say you had 40,000 people doing pre-marriage right now.
Okay.
Now, do we have a 10% hit rate? Like, is that a way to obtain a list where you can do traditional cold email?
That's potentially, but I will definitely build on something that works, because you don't really know that. Like, let's say, for example, your CPA partnership brings you some people. I'll double down on CPAs. I'll just basically contact more CPAs, and I say, like, hey guys, do you actually want to do $500, on a side with very little
Yeah,
work? Like, here's
yeah,
how John did it, and basically,
right.
I just explain, the principle or whatever, and see if it resonates. So I'd be more
Yeah,
inclined to do that rather than trying to build a sort of new list. So assuming I didn't
yeah,
have that, and I got your list of things. Um, I don't think I know enough of the industry, so I have to test. But I'll test with
Yeah,
not with 40, 100,000, people. I'll just test with the 100 coming up, right?
that's the thing. It's like eventually that's going to be phased out, right, Jeremy? Eventually you're going to have heard the last person to ever tell you,
Yes,
we
right.
got 20,000 names, we're good. Um,
Well, I think we're past that now. It's
maybe.
like, I can't get my emails to go through. Well, how many are you sending right now? I got 40,000. Yeah, fine. Just buy 10,000 inboxes on QuickMail. You'll be fine.
Yeah, no kidding. I actually spoke with someone who had. It was really interesting. Should I say what they did? Sure. They is very strange. They had their, let's call it like business Zoom entertainment. Like during the pandemic, companies would hire this person to come on a Zoom call
Oh, a clown.
and like, yeah, it's like a clown slash musician, magician thing. Like it was like corporate that.
Disappearing.
Okay. And okay, so this is almost like life insurance, Jeremy, in that technically, if you have a certain number of employees, you'd probably be interested in keeping them happy. And why shouldn't every company of a certain size hear about this
They
offer?
got
There's
too
no
much
real way
budget.
to.
So yeah, that's some
Okay.
people are going to buy that.
And I was like, man, this is going to be a hard sell. I go, how much, engagement are you getting? Oh, we're booking 10 meetings a day. And I was, how the hell are you doing that? I'm thinking this campaign has no legs. How do you segment properly? How do you list build? He was doing hey, I just grabbed a
200,000 emails a
bunch
day.
of, what was it? I forget what job title, but it may have been HR at funded companies. And there was literally 20,000 of them. And he's booking 10 meetings a day. I'm like, this is an anomaly. What's going on? And he said, oh, I have 10 inboxes that are sending 80, messages a
There you
day.
go.
And I looked at the copy and it was pretty damn good. Um,
That's
and
funny.
is it so? Okay.
I'm gonna change job. I'm gonna be a clown on Zoom now. Although I'm already a clown on Zoom right now, so I just need
Oh
the
my God.
different
So
gears.
funny. Yeah, we forgot to change. But okay, let's exit the wormhole with one last comment. It's like, so this is an example of a stellar campaign that the list really wasn't that specific, and the fact that it was a huge list and 10 inboxes could send it
Could have been
worked for
timing
this person.
or like novelty, novelty
Okay,
timing, something new, right? And
something
because
new.
that's not something you hear
And
very often.
this is my hunch why cold email and startups are best friends, because startups should be very good at identifying an obvious pain point for a specific
Yep.
person. So in
Commodity
their
doesn't
world,
go well. Mm.
that's what it is. And in the startup space, all the successful ones in terms of outreach that I've worked with, they had a narrow segment that they were serving, and this segment didn't even know that they could do or stop doing X. And so they had, if assuming 100% reply rate, 90% of them were like, why did no one tell me this? Yes. And that's
Oh yeah, that's
like
good.
the secret ingredient to great cold emails. You need that. If you have an 80% yes, holy cow, you built this, forget it. You're going to have an easy time, you know?
Yep. That's that's a magic key. So stay away
Yeah.
from commodity. Doesn't go very well by email. And try something to build on. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's more and less to it than that. Like if you can sell Zoom magic to an
Zoom
like
clowns.
yeah, Zoom cloud to a wide open list. I think, did you nail it by saying
Could be, yeah.
it's the timing, so COVID, and then
Novelty or like something
novelty?
new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if they got that email, they probably couldn't go, oh, let me go over to Google Places and find another, like that's.
Hey, we had some person on QuickMail doing extremely well, and I think it was like quite a few years back, but it was doing extremely well by offering something pretty new. I think it was like 3D shooting of pictures, in your shop, so you could add them in Google Maps or something like that. And it was brilliant
Right.
because it requires some, technical equipment. He could move, so it was very local and so on. And honestly, I never heard about such things. So it was brilliant, and it was absolutely killing it, right?
Yeah.
So that was at the time
So
where
the
everyone was trying to be on Google Maps. So it's brilliant. Like timing was perfect, novelty was
timing.
there.
Yeah.
You know, like you couldn't do it yourself even if you wanted to. It's just like brilliant.
Wow. Well, I think we can leave it here. But it's kind of nice because we started on why life insurance are
Yeah,
not
screw
killing
life
for inboxes,
insurance.
and we kind of we kind of ended up at like some of these components to the best campaigns we've seen, and there's timing's a factor. The hit rate, assuming the 100% reply rate's important, and the further away you can go from commodity, the less you're going to have to depend on the lucky strike, which is why in 2017, the best campaigns were just get so emails delivered to a ton of people. And they actually worked, like at big accounts, just by playing the numbers game. That is, for better or worse, not an option today. So I think the best cold email campaigns are leveraging timing, maybe novelty, and maybe just this precision focus where most of the people they're contacting say yes.
But you know what? They had also a secret weapon. You know which one it is?
Uh-oh. What did they?
They registered to course.quickmail.io.
Yes, tell us. No, that's genius, Jeremy. What a segue. But no, check out course.quickmail.io, and it's the follow-up. It's the far more tactical side of this discussion where you can, and just get straight to executing an agency level campaign. So course.quickmail.io. Jeremy, thanks for the water cooler chat. It's time to refill and
I need a refill. Thanks, Jack. It was awesome.
You bet.
Thanks
it
for
was
the
awesome.
topic.
See you,
Appreciate
Jeremy.
it. Bye.
Cool. Bye.